let's just go straight across. Tell us your name, the film, and your role in making that film.
Hi. My name is Maya Velasquez, and I'm the screenwriter, editor, and assistant director of Tia Rosa.
Hi, my name's Jenny Liu, and I'm the cinematographer for Spectre's Passing.
Hi, my name is Derek Hernandez, and I'm the producer of Tia Rosa.
My name is Vincent Kimmel, and I was the director of Tia Rosa.
I'm Nikhil Oza. I was part of Better. I was the editor and sound person.
Hi, my name is Aman Shivnani, and I was the producer of Better.
Hi, I'm Tasnuba Shahran, and I was a cinematographer for Tia Rosa.
Hey everybody, I hope you guys all enjoyed the films. My name is Oscar Darmon, and I was the director on Better.
Hi, I'm Alicia Yu. I was a cinematographer for Better.
So I want to start off with Tia Rosa because we have the screenwriter right next to me. But for a number of reasons, I watched Tia Rosa and I was instantly transported to my own tia, who did not let me cook cupcakes. So Tia Rosa was awesome. Tell me a little bit about the inspiration. Like, where does the story come from?
This is a really personal story for me. It's based on the relationship with my own tia. So writing it, it was such a long emotional process. And then it's also inspired by the movie Kramer versus Kramer, if anyone's seen it. A lot of the shots, that's the inspiration.
This very excited person here who saw the Kramer versus Kramer reference is the director. Tell me a little bit about putting this together. Tell me a little bit about being on set and working to direct these actors.
It was scary because it was the first time that I've ever, worked on a film really, because it was, but like it was very hard to like direct, but the thing is I have terrible social anxiety, so like when I'm trying to express what I need to get done, it just comes out like it's like messed up and weird, where I'm like, okay, like in my head I'm like, I need you to really put your heart into it, and then like as soon as I say it, I'm like, just cry.
That is awesome. There was definitely a very powerful moment there in the crying. Interpreting the script. Now, Maya, I'm going to come to you just a little bit. This is for both of you and the cinematographer. Interpreting the script into images and having it be as powerful as the story itself must have been like an interesting task. Talk to me a little bit about trying to bring this vision onto the screen.
When I originally looked at the script, first off, I cried like multiple times, but each time that I read something, I immediately have like a visual cue for what it is. So as soon as I read it, all I saw were like, I saw multiple shots. I saw the one where she was tying her bow. I saw the cupcake shot. Like I saw all of this and I was like, it needs to be put in. And I need to have this be made into film.
So it was beautiful looking, and I'd love to hear a little bit from your cinematographer about the process of shooting this. Tasnuba.
Yeah, so I guess like one thing we really emphasized was the montage where the Tia and Amara they're making, and it's also because it's one of the few times you actually see them together, so we wanted to show their bond. And like cooking and baking together is such an intimate thing. We really wanted to also feel like a memory. So there were like movements, we had like certain, we wanted her to be sitting on the counter and it's almost like they're in the same level. And we wanted to make it look very soft. We wanted to kind of make things look very warm as well. So we made sure, all of the colors, it was like yellow, pink. It's very girly and it's youthful. And I think when Tia Rosa is with Amara, like she also gets that youthfulness from Amara and just spending that time with her. So we wanted to really take our time with that, and like obviously it goes through it's like a it goes from like happy to sad, and then it picks itself back up. And I think you wrote like such a beautiful script, and it was really an honor just to work with you. And everyone else in the crew.
Listen, you were alright.
Alright, yeah, I'll accept it.
Derek, you produced this. We all get to see the beautiful images. We all get to see the wonderful storytelling. We don't get to see like the headache after headache of the producer trying to get this to happen. Tell me a little bit about that process.
Yeah, so this was my first time like solo producing, so when I read the script, I was kind of like, oh wow, now we have to make this into a film, and I wanted to do it justice, like Patricia said, it was a beautiful script, and so the first thing we worked on, or that we focused on, was casting, because it was a family, so we needed them not only to be good actors, but to have chemistry with each other. And so, that was my biggest fear, like, oh my god, we're probably not gonna find actors like that have that are a believable family. But then we kind of found them pretty quick. We found them like in the first day of casting. So I was like, oh, okay, good. We got the biggest thing out of the way. But that wasn't true. The biggest challenge we had was most of the story takes place in a kitchen. And we live in New York City, and a lot of these apartments have kitchens that don't fit more than 2 people. And so there were a lot of times where we would go to an apartment, and there's like a beautiful living room and big windows, and then the kitchen. Like, it's just so over there. And what you don't see is the actors on screen, and there's 7 of us behind the camera, 2 lights. So location, it kind of came out to last minute. We had the actors, we had the restaurant we found in the first week, but a decent sized kitchen, that was hard.
Ooh, New York City, a decent sized kitchen is gold. I feel you. I'm gonna, one last question for the Tia Rosa gang. Maya, this one is for you because you had the rare opportunity of writing, assistant directing, and then editing the story that you wrote. Writing a story and then editing that story together. These are 2 very different films, right? Tell me a little bit about like going into the edit room. How did it feel the same or different from the story that you wrote while you were piecing it together?
Yeah, real quick, Derek was mentioning the actresses. I want to thank you. Like, the actresses put so much into these characters, and I can't thank them enough. So yeah, the editing process was very stressful, but I think I learned a lot about collaboration during that process. Like, Vincent and Tassanuva really stepped up, and I'm so thankful for them. And yeah, so I really learned about teamwork doing that.
Thank you. So I had mentioned how beautiful the cinematography here was, and the cinematography was gorgeous in all 3 films. But I know because I know, right? I got the crib notes. The enormous headache that it was to try and shoot better. Because for the most part, we see one white room, and so we're like, this must have been the easiest thing in the world. I'm gonna jump in a little bit and ask Alicia. Alicia, as cinematographer, tell us a little bit about the shooting process for Better.
Yeah, so we had 4 days to shoot this. In the beginning, like trying to scramble for like locations and stuff, and trying to like make it all look good for the set and everything. It was just a lot, and yeah, I mean it was definitely a challenge. From the dance studio to the auditorium, and everything. But I knew at the end, I was telling myself, this film is going to be a big challenge, but it's going to be worth it in the end. And I think, I'm proud of the cinematography for that film. So, yeah.
It was a good collection of shots. There's kind of this overhead shot of the 2 kids there. You just had very tall people. I know that this was a very small studio. Tell us a bit about piecing some of these together.
Yeah. So we there was a lot of like repeating shots. Yeah, I remember we had this one, and it didn't work out in the film, but like we had this one shot, and I had to keep going up to and turn to the actors. We just kept doing it over and over again, and I remember it, but it just like there's like times like that where the shots just kind of either like didn't work out, so we had to like change something up or like make something up, you know, on the fly. But again, like it was that challenge, I think, really made me grow, and everything pieced together by the end, it made it look good.
Thank you. You mentioned the actors, and there's some phrase that like working with children and animals are just like the worst thing for and so you know, better thought, why not bring 6 children in and work with them? You know, our first film, let's do this. Children, get me a dog. Like, tell me a little bit about working with your actors. Tell me, like, and having them choreographed. Like, there was a lot that went into directing this film. Talk about it.
I think, first of all, I think we had an amazing cast. Like, everybody played their part. But it was just a lot to worry about. We had a choreographer on set with us, and she was just working above her paycheck. There were so many moving parts, and it was just a team effort in the end. I think that everybody pulled through in the end. Alicia came clutch because we came into it with a shot list, and we were like, this is like our plan, this is our Bible, we're gonna stick to this. And then we looked at each other on set, and we were like, it's out the window. I don't think our AD was too happy about that. But I think in the end, it all pulled through, and it was definitely challenging.
I think with a project this size, with that many actors, this many locations, this many days of shooting, the logistics have got to be so much fun. I want to talk to the producers. The producers are always like the silent heroes of productions. You know, we get to see the beautiful images, but the hard work that goes into getting that stuff. Tell me a little bit about producing this piece.
The first time that I read the script itself, I was like, okay, this is crazy. It needed so much things to be done at such a grand level, and I had produced films before, but this is something really, really different, and not just in the locations or something, but we talk about it in an all-around way, where we talk about cast, where we talk about the crew that we needed to make this film happen, and when we talk about locations and all of those logistics, it was a challenge for sure. But at the end, I think the challenge is what makes us better.
I was waiting for the pun. I knew one of you was gonna have to say it. I felt like Nikhil would have been the pun person. You know, I'm just gonna go to him. Feel free to repeat the pun or not repeat the pun.
It's already been done.
Alright, so then you know what you can tell us about. I saw you at RealWorks almost every day. I thought we were paying you to be there, and you were spending so much time on this film. You and Oscar spending hours upon hours upon hours, and me refusing to buy you any food while you sat there. Tell us about cutting this together, and also about collaborating with like a director. Like, how did bringing this vision together? You two were there a lot. Tell me about that.
First thing, there's nothing more disheartening than hearing you need something in a week and you just started. So that was a fun way to start editing. But I mean, I have to thank Steven because he helped me out a lot and in organizing the project, which simplified a lot of it. And then once I had something, Oscar came along. So I also have to thank him. He came in a lot and he helped me out. And I think it was really interesting working with him because usually, like, I'm the only person editing, and then once I'm done, like, that's it. But now I had somebody being like, I don't like that. And then I was like, okay. So then I had to go back and change it, and then he liked it, but then I didn't like it. So then we had to do it again. So yeah, it came down to, like, becoming something that, like, neither of us thought it was going to be. And I was going to say it came out better, but some years took that.
We'll accept it twice. We're accepting it twice. That is awesome. I know before I jump into questions from the audience, I just want to say that I was super jealous watching Spectre's Passing, Jenny. Some of the cinematography in there, I was like, oh, I'm gonna steal that later. That's really, really beautiful. Like, tell me a little bit about coming up with the storyboard. I also saw a lot of intention in your color. Like, tell me a little bit about piecing this, the images of this film together.
Hey, cool. Thanks, Charles. Yeah, it was really. We tried to go into like thinking about visual storytelling with like. I think we tried to really like focus in on Esme's story and like really have a lot of empathy for her situation. And I think watching it, it really turned out to be a lot different than what I thought it would be in the beginning. It turned into like a really like beautiful visual poem, and I think that like that's a lot up to. That's a lot thanks to like Kim for like really stepping up and like editing it and also directing it and adding like the music and just like making it something beautiful. But yeah.
No, that totally answers. Now I know Kim was rushing to be here, and I don't know if she has made it just yet. Is she here? Where is Kim? Kim, come on up here, the director of the film. Come on up, Kim. I give lots of credit to Kim, who was involved in the writing, in the directing, in the editing, in the we were just gonna put her name and have it just scroll a bunch of times over and over again. She did an amazing work. You know what? So let's give her one more round of applause. Yes. Kim, come on over. Take my seat. Come on. Go for it. Go for it. All right, I'm from back here, right? It's good. So, all right, so you, like I mentioned, you were so involved in the screenwriting, you were so involved in the production, you were involved at every stage heavily, right? Speak to me about like some of the things, some of the challenge that may have come up, and how you were able to pull your team together in order to overcome it.
I think one of the big challenges is that like in the team, everybody has their own ideas, and it's really about communicating to each other about like what someone's perspective is on this, or what someone like expects from how this is going to turn out. And I think something that you always struggle with is like communicating to each other. What do you want to come out of this? But I feel like me and my team, like through like messaging each other and talking to one another, we were able to like come through and create something. Yeah.
So I made mention of these the images, like these montages that are in there are super great. It is. It's absolutely such a poetic film. Was this something that you were looking for, like these spaces of no words and just feeling? Were these montages clear to you right at the beginning as you were walking in, or were you just halfway through the process and you thought, montages?
I feel like that's a big thanks to Amy, in case she's here, our scriptwriter. And when you read it, it's just a lot of poetry involved and a lot of, I feel like, more visual things than like me myself. I prefer to like tell the story through the visual instead of like the dialogue or something else. So when I read Amy's script, I thought it was more a visual film than anything else. And yeah, that's what I decided to do. So I thought, okay, here are these like things where they're just talking, and music could be a big factor in this. So yeah, that's just like when I read the script, I was like, okay, let's put a montage in there.
That is awesome. So I'm gonna take a question from the audience, but I want one person to tell me. This is a collaborative process. What is something that you learned about collaboration? Give me one, and I may take two, but give me one thing that you learned about collaboration throughout this process. Because you were all very different folks, just coming together, crossing your fingers, trusting, and you created such beautiful, beautiful films. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen by yourself. What did you learn about collaborating with others?
Thank you. I feel like the best analogy that I could give is like it's one big trust fall. I feel like, personally, me going into this program, I thought I was a very like big control freak, and I feel like a lot of things on a film set, you only have so much control, And when Murphy's Law hits into effect, you need to trust that your team has your back. And I believe that my crew has my back.
I would say that we learned that it was fun to panic as a team. There were a lot of times where we would just be on Zoom and we're like, oh my god, like we can't do it, like we're done, right? Like we're done, and then we're all agree like we're done, and then like 2 seconds later, like, well, maybe if we do this. And so I think a lot of times it was just about, you know, not feeling like you were alone. Anytime an issue, you know, came up, we had each other to depend on, and everyone stepped up, as Maya said, to make sure that this film happened.
Awesome. I'm buying that t-shirt. It's great to panic as a team. All right, so let's take a couple of questions from the audience. We have one over here.
So I have a question for Oscar. And I was actually one of the dancers in Better, and I really like my question is that I didn't get to see is all the in the scene where Peter and the teacher where they were on stage and they were actually dancing, the people who were sitting down, like, how did you do that? Like, how did you grab those people and then like put them in the audience? Like.
So it was really challenging because we got onto set and we all looked at each other. We were like, how are we gonna make this look like we have an audience? So what we ended up doing is we had a solution. We basically had a big theater. We were at the Paley Center. Thank you to Becca for getting us that theater. We just blocked off a section of the audience. We filled it up with our crew. We filled it up with Becca herself and a bunch of staff at Paley, and we just tried to make it our best to sell it as an audience, and I hope we did that.
Yes, you got a question over this way.
Yes, my question's for Maya.
Let's get this microphone.
Yes, I have a question for Maya, the screenwriter. This is your second film that you've written, and I've been a witness to this beautiful evolution of your craft as a screenwriter. And I wanted to know, how would you describe your own evolution and what you are learning as you're writing film from film about what you love or just what you hope to convey through the script format?
Yeah, great question. I think I'm learning more about my specific style for film. Like in this film, there's a lot of silence, and I just love living in that silence and showing like stories of like everyday people. Cause I'm assuming everyone here has like their favorite person. My favorite person was my Tia Rosa, and so I love creating like stories based on just everyday moments like baking cupcakes. So yeah, thank you.
I'm gonna shout out that person with the question because I believe in the dark. Oh, she's waving me like I better not, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. That is Anais Sisko, who was at some point Maya's mentor. So I wanna give a shout out to Anais and all of the mentors in our audience. Like, this doesn't just happen. And in fact, I'm gonna steal a question and ask one of our fellows here if you'd like to speak a little bit on your mentorship process. What was it like having a mentor, awesome people like Anais Sisko?
So my mentor was Seth Dean. He's a gaffer and cinematographer. And when I first met him, I was a little bit intimidated. I never like really talked to anyone like that works directly in the film industry. And Seth was just super welcoming, super nice. Yeah, after that first day that we met, he was just super easy to talk to, and I felt like I could go to him for anything. So yeah, and we've been texting a lot, like here and there every week, and doing like video calls and stuff since he's always like busy. But yeah, he's just like super nice and really just introduced me to a lot of things, taught me a lot of things about the film industry, and I'm really grateful to him. Yeah.
Thank you. One more. How is your everyone was going for it. Okay, we'll take a couple. How has your mentor stretched you as a filmmaker?
My mentor was Sam Sulam, and he's like a commercial director, and
he's like 10 years ahead of me in terms of like a career, so it was like so helpful to like meet someone who's like also just as like sensitive and like also facing the same kinds of like thoughts and like doubts and like struggles with being like a creative professional, but like he was so open about that and like still about still going through that, but also like I could see that, you know, in the 10 years that he's had at this career, he's really faced some like great success. So it was so helpful to like meet someone who was so vulnerable about that and so willing to share everything that they've learned.
That's awesome. I saw like 7 hands go up, so I'm gonna accept one more. Tell us about your mentor.
My mentor is Sanjay Singh. He's the founder of the Nuku organization, which is another non-profit filmmaking organization which is working towards and for the community. It's been a beautiful process. I've always wanted to have someone that I can go to, ask questions, and I'm a person that has a lot of questions. So I've struggled him way too many times, and you know, I had a beautiful chance to work towards something with him, which was the Nuku Fest 2022, and we just wrapped it up yesterday, and it was an amazing opportunity to not just work with him, but to get an understanding of the way things work. And he's worked in this industry, and he's had so many hats. He's a producer, cinematographer, director, and for me, I'm currently following the producing path. But even if I have questions about directing or cinematography, he's been a guiding factor for me. He was just teaching me about camera yesterday, so it's been like a beautiful experience, and I couldn't have asked for another or a better mentor than him.
That is awesome. If you're a filmmaker, I'm gonna drop one of what are those things called? A shameless plug. If you're a filmmaker and would like to mentor the next generation of filmmakers, please contact Mara Shaban at RealWorks. Mara at realworks.org. Killed it. You're welcome, Mara. All right. So I'm going to take 2 more questions from the audience. No one has clocked me, so I'm just going to keep going until they do. Oh, wait, there's a very, very active young man here. Yes, you, sir. What is your question? Oh, wait, give this man a microphone.
Thank you. I'm Emperor. I was young Frankly in Spectre's Passing. And I have a question for Kim. Were the people by the bridge, in the bridge scene, extras, or were they just there?
They were just there, they were not extras, which was really fun because in the background of it actually was a wedding happening. So while we were shooting in, you just hear like trumpets and wedding music and, well, yeah, no, to answer your question, they were not, we didn't plan for them, so yeah.
Okay, that's crazy.
Oh, just a big shout out to all of my actors who were amazing. Thank you so much. Katrina, Taylor, Anchor, you were really amazing. Thank you.
Okay, we have lots of child hands here. Okay, all right. I'm gonna let an adult take this one. I'm so sorry. You there, the adult.
Yes, me, Jasmine Chu, the producer of Spectre's Passing.
Oh, yes.
Hey, what's up?
Ladies and gentlemen, Jasmine Chu, producer for Spectre's Passing.
Sorry, I didn't mean to my question was, so what was everybody's favorite part of this entire experience, or what's their favorite memory?
The end.
My favorite memory, I have to say, was one of the 48-hour challenges with Kim, Jenny, and Pastel. That was so fun. Like, so the 48-hour challenge, we would all like spend 2 days and make a whole film in 2 days, and it was very stressful, but it was so fun working with all of them.
I would say for me, there were like small moments that like I just remember because it was just so funny. Our actress for the other side is right there in the 4th row, and it was amazing to work with her. One thing I remember is I was working on the schedule on set, and she was practicing her lines and she got to her last line and then she was like, and then I died. And every time she would rehearse her lines, that's how she would end it. And it was just a moment that stirred me because it was like something you don't think about, like that's gonna happen on set, like okay, an actor rehearsing their lines, but you know, it just made it so much fun to work on this project, you know, to have such wonderful actors.
That is awesome. Her favorite part is also the I'll tell you someone else. What was your favorite part about this whole process?
For me, my favorite part was just learning cinematography. I didn't go to film school or anything, so this is really where I learned everything. And having a place to kind of practice everything that I learned, and I really learned a lot in the last 10 months. Last 10 months, in this program, being able to collaborate with all these amazing people, and also just not being afraid to make mistakes, because I realized I just learned more from making mistakes. So I'm not encouraging people to make mistakes, but I'm just saying that's how I learn or just remember things.
Awesome. Real quick, just off testing, a big shout out to the instructors. Some of who are in this audience, Anthony, Artist, Busra.
Oh yeah, shout out to Anthony too.
They're all in here. Feel free to wave. They're somewhere in the dark. No.
Oh yeah, Anthony, thank you so much. You've been so helpful, and I'm really grateful that you were our instructor. I really hope that's Anthony. That is yours. Okay, cool.
Can I shout out Akiva, the screenwriting instructor?
Please,
Oh my gosh. I don't know where Akiva, you here? And no? Man. But she helped me so much grow as a screenwriter and really love writing. So big shout out to her.
Yes.
I also want to shout out Busra.
Is Busra in here?
Okay.
Just in case.
Just in case. But I feel I've gotten to know Busra outside of the classroom as well. I've gotten to build a personal connection with her, and she's been just an incredible mentor on top of the mentor I got out of this program too. So, Busra, you're here in spirit. I love you.
You are not obligated to shout out Steven. Although now you are.
Well, now, okay. Well, yeah, so I'd like to thank Stephen. Oh, he's in the back.
Hey, Nikhil.
Yeah, he helped me out with Better. Something I'm very proud of with my project is most of the timeline was color-coded. It was his suggestion, so yeah, and he's helped me out through this year, and even with Better, especially with after the reaction of realizing I only had a week to get something together, so yeah.
No obligation. Stephen, he mentioned you right at the beginning. Just so you know. We have talk of a storm, as we often do. I just want to give all of you one last mushy shout out. You made amazing, beautiful, beautiful films. You made wonderful collaborations, and you are amazing filmmakers. I can't wait to see what all of you do in the future.
Yeah.